In this lecture, we will learn about Journalctl and how it helps us to read and understand system logs. This is a very important command because when something goes wrong in a Linux system, the first place an administrator checks is usually the system logs. These logs help us to understand what happened, when it happened, which service created the message, and whether the system is healthy or facing a problem. So, the purpose of learning Journalctl is not only to view logs, but also to build a habit of checking the system in a smart and professional way. When we start working on real Linux servers, they will often need to find why a service failed, why the system was slow, why a user could not log in, or why the machine restarted. In all these situations, Journalctl comes one of the most useful tools. Before we go deeper, it is important to understand that Linux keeps many system messages in a journal. This journal is managed by system d-journal d, and Journalctl is the command that allows us to read those messages in a clean way. In simple words, this means the system is always collecting useful information in the background, and Journalctl helps us to open that information whenever we need it. That is why this command is so important for system administrators, DevOps engineers, support staff, and even beginners who want to troubleshoot Linux properly. The simplest way to start is by typing journalctl. When we run the journalctl command, it shows a very large list of system log messages collected by Linux. These messages may include boot messages, service activity, login activity, errors, warnings, and other events. Because these logs can be thousands of lines long, they are shown in pages. If you look at the bottom of the screen, you can see something like lines 1 to 45, which means only the first part of the logs is currently visible. When we press enter, the system loads the next set of lines. In this way, we move through the logs step by step and read them easily without the screen scrolling too fast. For example, here one log line says, "No num, a configuration found." This message means the Linux kernel checked the system hardware and did not find a num-a configuration. Num-A stands for non-uniform memory access, which is a memory architecture used in large servers with multiple CPUs. Since our system is a virtual box, virtual machine, it does not use NUMA memory, so the kernel reports that no num-A configuration exists. This is completely normal and not an error. That is why we read logs using Journalctl, because these messages tell us what the kernel is detecting and configuring during system startup. By checking these logs, administrators can confirm that hardware, memory, and CPU settings were detected correctly. This output is very long, which happens very often when we use the journalctl command because the system stores many log messages. When all logs appear at once, they move very quickly on the screen and become difficult to read. To solve this problem, we can use the journalctl pipeless command. This allows the logs to open in a scrollable viewer so we can read them slowly. After running the journalctl command and sending its output to less, the logs appear page by page. At the bottom of the screen, you can see a colon prompt, which shows that the less viewer is active. In this mode, we can press enter to move one line down or press the space bar to move to the next page. This makes it easier to read and analyze long system logs without missing important information. Furthermore, if we only want to see the latest messages, we can use journalctl hyphen n20 command. Here, the hyphen n option means we want only a certain number of lines from the end of the journal. This is very useful in real work because administrators often care more about the latest activity than the older history. For example, if a service just failed a few minutes ago, the newest lines are the first ones to check. This will save our time and helps to focus only on the most recent events. In many cases, we do not only want to view the last lines once. We want to keep watching the logs live as new messages appear. For this, we use journalctl -f command. Here, the -f option means follow, and it works like live monitoring. This is very important when testing a service, restarting something, or checking user activity in real time. For example, if we restart a web service and wants to see what message appears immediately, this command becomes very helpful. It tells how to observe the system while actions are happening. Sometimes we need logs only from the current boot session. For this, we use journalctl -b. This command is important because it removes older boot history and shows only the logs related to the current time the system has been running since the last start. If there are multiple old boot records, we can check them using the command journalctl double hyphen list hyphen boots. This shows a list of system boot sessions along with their index numbers and timestamps. Each entry represents one time the system started. In this output, you can see only one boot entry with index 0. This means the system has recorded only one boot session in the journal. It shows the first entry time when the system started and the last entry time of logs during that boot. This helps administrators track system startup history. Sometimes we need to check logs for a specific service instead of the full system. For this, journalctl-ussd command is very important. Here, the -u option means unit, and in System D, services are called units. By using this command, we can check only the logs related to the SSH service. This helps to understand a major idea in troubleshooting. For example, look at the line server listening on 0.0.0.0.0, port 22. This message shows that the SSHD service has started and is listening on port 22 for incoming SSH connections. The address 0.0 means the server is accepting connections from all network interfaces. This confirms that the SSH service started successfully and is ready to accept remote logins. That is why checking logs with journalctl helps us to confirm whether the SSH service started correctly or not. Sometimes we need to filter logs by time. For this, we use journalctl double hyphen since today command. This shows all logs from today only. Furthermore, if we want logs starting from a specific date and time, then we can also use journalctl double hyphen since with the date, then the time in the quotes. This is important because many troubleshooting tasks depend on exact timing. If a service fails at a known time, this command helps us jump directly to that area of the log. Sometimes we want to see only errors. For this, journalctl -perr command is very useful. Here, -p option means priority, and ERR means error level messages. This is an important command because it helps administrators to focus on serious problems first. In a busy server, there may be thousands of normal messages, but only a few real errors. So, filtering by priority helps us to find the most important information quickly. If we want to see warnings and more serious messages, we can use Journalctl -p warning command. This is helpful because not every issue appears as a full error. Some problems first appear as warnings. To avoid cutting off long log messages, we can use Journalctl -xe command. This command is very common in troubleshooting. Here, the -x option adds extra explanation in some cases, and -e moves the output to the end of the journal. This is helpful because when administrators are troubleshooting a fresh issue, they usually want to go directly to the newest part and see useful details immediately. Many Linux administrators use this command often during service failure checks. Another useful command is journalctl -no-pager. By default, journal output may open in a pager, but sometimes we want the full output to print directly on the screen or be redirected to a file. This command is useful when an administrator wants to copy output, save it, or use it in scripts. We can also filter logs by executable path using journalctl /usr/sbin/sshd command. This is another strong feature because sometimes we know the program file but not the exact service unit. This command helps us to find messages connected to that program. If you want to check logs for a specific user session or login, you can use journalctl with _UID. This is important because user activity can also create log entries. If an administrator wants to know what actions were linked to a certain user account, this kind of filtering becomes helpful. It builds awareness that logs are connected to users, services, and processes in different ways. If we want to save the logs into a file for later reading, for example, if we want to save the SSHD server logs, we run the command journalctl -usshd and then use the output redirection operator followed by the file name with an extension, for example, a text file. This stores the SSH service logs inside that file so we can open and read them later instead of viewing them directly on the screen. If we list the files in this directory, here you can see that the file has been created. Now we can view this file using the cat command. When we run the cat command with the file name, it displays the content of the file on the screen. And here you can see the SSHD logs that were saved earlier. Another useful command is journalctl :disk-usage. This command shows how much space the journal is using on disk. This is important because logs can grow over time, especially on busy servers. So, by using this command, you can not only read logs, but also understand their storage impact. So, this is a simple explanation of how the journalctl command is important for system administrators to monitor, read, and understand system logs in Linux. Although we covered some commonly used options in this lecture, journalctl provides many more parameters that allow deeper log analysis. As you continue learning Linux, you can explore more options to gain better control and understanding of system behavior. See you in the next lecture.
I hope you learned something useful in this video, and I will see you in the next one. But please wait. Don't forget to subscribe.